Dan Reichert, welcome to the future.
Yes, we're living in it, right?
We are living in it. The future, our multimedia future has come to pass. The promise of the 90s is here, and it's Quantum Break.
TV and video games no longer separate entities.
That's right, all one thing.
Yes, we're here.
Yeah, this is a third-person cover shooter from Remedy.
Okay.
The developers of Max Payne, Alan Wake, that sort of stuff.
It's kind of a divide in talking about the future. Third-person cover
The future is third-person cover shooters.
Okay, great.
With television inserted into the middle of it, more or less. And a little bit of choice along the way. It's an interesting mix.
Branching paths, or just like, hey, kill this guy or don't kill this guy?
It's kill this guy, don't kill this guy, that then leads to not only some slight differences in the video game part of it, but also some slight differences in the television part of it.
That led to them like having to shoot totally different scenes, or like one line of dialogue where it's like, too bad that guy's dead.
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
You know?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a save that's at the very end of the game, and so we have to rewind that save in order to show off any part of the game, really.
Okay.
Past the part that we've already shown. I think the full first act is already up on the site from preview coverage. So, so I'm gonna get in here and, gosh. Trying to think what would be a good spot to start at, because if it's going to rewind, then maybe we should start with the... Okay, what we'll do, we'll start with a junction.
Okay. Which is a decision point,
Which
I
is a
assume.
decision point. So basically, the flow of the game is that you play an active action. You run around, you shoot people, you hide behind stuff, you use your time powers to do time things. Then you switch to the other side and play as the game's main antagonist and make a decision. And then that decision leads into the episode of television.
So are you making decisions as the bad
As
guy?
the bad guy.
But like the way that you would do it if you were a bad guy? Like
So
you gotta
that's
get inside his
up
head,
to
or?
you to decide if you're playing, do I want to, am I going to choose the choice that I perceive to make it easier on my player character, or am I doing what I think this guy would do?
See, the few games that do that, I always want to just do what the character would do. Like Black Ops 2, you can be the bad guy, and it's like, well, I'm the bad guy, I would just fucking shoot this good guy, and you do what a crazy bad guy would do, you know?
Yeah.
But then if that screws up your, that's a weird dynamic.
But
there.
it's really like, are you going to choose this thing or this thing? It's really just you're hitting one button or the other. So it doesn't get so deep that you would be in a situation where you. So we're going to start with the end of Act 3 junction. So we'll have to work backwards. Well, I think we'll end up probably playing this part. Okay, so
you have
so
6
just
out of 8 quantum ripples.
Yeah, I drank a lot of Quantum Ripple.
Right.
It's good shit. All right, so we'll go to Junction 3. So yeah, this is gonna, all checkpoints and future parts will be lost. So.
Okay, so do you lose basically your save going forward?
I can no longer start in Act 5 or anything like that because you're making these decisions along the way.
Yeah.
They kind of roll it back to this chunk, which is why recording this quick look is a little tricky. But by working backwards through time, we'll be able to at least show off the 3 different aspects of the game.
You have beat this game, though.
Yes.
I mean, we've got a review on the site.
Reviews on the site, all that stuff.
Growing inside me.
So this is a time travel story, which is I like a time travel story, even when they're bad.
I love this actor. He's great.
He looks weird. He shows up here and there in the TV series. And something about his face there looks weird. And I don't know if it's because I spent more time looking at it in polygons.
Huh. I mean, that looks like I recognize him from The Wire and Game of Thrones and Dark Knight and stuff, and that's pretty much what he looks like.
I'm just not familiar with him, so I don't know if he looks weird or not.
How the fuck did this happen, Morgan?
Huh.
How is it possible they managed to take
He is also from The Wire.
Yeah.
This is your illness talking. I'm on your side.
Does he have a time illness?
Yeah, he's time sick.
Okay. His skin turns into little triangles.
Easy. You're...
They took her. Without Sophia, there's no chance of a cure.
We did all we could. But there are forces within Monarch working against you, and I believe Burke was just the tip of the iceberg. It wasn't just Joyce that did this.
There are in-game cutscenes and real-life cutscenes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's weird because the video, the FMV stuff, the TV show stuff, is like from this completely different perspective of these characters that are in the video game, but not that much. And so
Okay.
it's like it's this attempt to flesh out some backstory that kind of doesn't need a ton of fleshing out.
Is it like that Matrix game where you play as like side characters that were kind of in the movie but not?
Yeah,
no one
but it's
cared
all
about 'em?
contained in one package, more or less, because
Yeah.
you're playing as the character that you would theoretically care about,
Right.
Who we have not seen on screen yet, and then the TV show is about like this bodyguard and this fucking lame IT guy and this lady and stuff that ties into
I want to go over some figures.
those other parts of the
She's
game,
learned the
but
fractures
none of it
escalated a lot
feels
faster than we
vital.
anticipated.
Okay. Is he the antagonist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Doesn't.
as part of this choice here,
The
like
lifeboat even in a viable state for activation?
we kind of
She's trying to
get
convince you the schedule's wrong.
the ability to kind of walk around a little bit
Rush this?
and think about it. But really, we just kind of walk up to a point and hit a button to make whatever choice we want to make.
So you're never like shooting guns or throwing time crystals or whatever as this guy.
When you're playing this character, you are just making a small handful of decisions along the way. This is time vision.
Okay. It's a nice patio.
Clean house.
Yeah, no, this was probably a nice party.
Yeah.
I think maybe earlier we'll play the scene before this where, as the other guy, you shoot your way through this party.
Okay. I thought maybe his time illness got the best of him and everyone left because it got weird.
No.
Okay.
So you have your choice to make, but the game is littered with objects like this one. Like
I saw the footage of your speech.
where you get a little bit of extra story, or there are a lot of emails to read and stuff like that, and you see that stuff in time
There are
vision.
people on the
Okay.
inside who
So
want us to fail.
time vision, just let that sink in. Time vision.
Glad they're a lousy
Okay.
They just kind of
Yeah.
came up with a set of powers, and then just kind of threw. It just feels like they just threw the word time on the front of some stuff,
Okay.
and said like, well, detective vision. I mean, Batman wasn't really a detective. I mean, he is, but not. Time vision. It's fine. It's fine.
Do
It's
a
fine.
time crouch.
Somebody made a false
Yeah.
report. Sent me to the tunnels to divert my attention.
I feel like this missed the heyday of. It seemed like in the mid last generation there were just a ton of games like Singularity and stuff with like time powers and
Yeah.
manipulating stuff and.
Oh man, I would rather play Singularity than this game.
Singularity's good.
Singularity's cool.
There was Time Shift. There was the one where gravity changes completely.
That's Fracture, right?
Fracture's one.
That's a bad
What's
game.
the one where you can like make the ground come up? And is that Fracture?
It's Populous. No, I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
All right. So basically, we can sit here all we want, but the game will not proceed until
Somebody
we
was working
do
against
this.
me. Somebody close. Martin Hatch. Sophia Amaral. I could only trust one of them.
So before we make these choices, we can kind of hold the button down and get a little glimpse of what will happen. You know, you're not really getting the full story. You're just kind of getting these disjointed moments of like, if we make this choice, it'll play out in this direction.
Okay.
I began to wonder if
Have you enjoyed the story? Or did you? I guess it's
No,
over.
not. I mean, there are parts of it that I think are interesting, but then like the way it plays, like I said, it ends up being very disjointed.
Yeah.
Because it just jumps over to these other characters that don't matter, and then
Yeah.
jumps back. Like if 100% of it had kind of focused on the Jack Joyce protagonist story, it would have been a little more cohesive and interesting.
Okay.
Whereas it feels really disjointed and kind of like it loses focus too many times.
Gotcha.
I said I'll try.
evidence was mounting against Sophia. I couldn't simply ignore it, despite everything we had been through.
But she knew you'd never make it without those treatments.
And so these things, you know, these choices you make will, like again, some will have more noticeable impacts than others.
Right.
But you know, it's a lot of cases where, like, literally the first choice you make, which we showed prior to the game's release, is a live or die sort of situation, and it's this kind of side character that, like, you know, so I played through the game with her alive. And as a result, like every line of dialogue, when she is present, which is not the entire game,
yeah,
which you wouldn't want her there the whole time anyway, but every time she is present, like every line of dialogue that comes out of her mouth is something that if she was just gone, it would not affect things.
So just throwaway dialogue completely?
Yeah,
okay.
It's not like a really meaningful sort of thing. So I'm gonna go left bumper on this one.
Okay.
Sophia,
Is that what you did on your playthrough?
No.
Judgment. We need to analyze these figures and make final preparations to activate the lifeboat protocol at once.
Fine.
Are we seeing things through, like, why is his head turning into triangles? Is that bad guys, like, is that how he sees the world?
Time, I don't know, man. Time.
It's time vision.
Time.
He's wearing his time suit.
I see.
Sir?
Put people on Mr. Hatch. I want constant eyes on him.
Yes, sir. You got it.
It's weird to me that they like lovingly rendered these actors like this looks good to me, but then they also do the live action stuff. It's like if you're gonna put the tech in there to make it look really good, why even increase the budget to make it this weird TV thing as well?
I think it would have actually been better served as I think that a lot of the ideas
But we've got a kill team tracking.
would have been a little
No,
bit
she can't be killed. Not yet.
better if it didn't have any of the TV show stuff in it.
Okay.
And a lot of the TV show stuff, again, like is not
Don't screw this up.
super vital. There are story elements that are conveyed there. It's not like it's not like I'm not saying like, oh, totally just skip through it, because
Right.
you at some point it's like, well, then why are you playing?
Right.
She had been there in the past. When it all started.
But yeah, it's a time travel story, so there's a lot of crazy old version, young version. It's like
Right.
fun stuff a time travel story can do, but it ends up
It's me from the inside.
there end up being things that happen in the TV show, like it's simple stuff like a car chase that, because the action part of the video game part of the video game is so one note, that because that is just shooting and then some really like pretty bad platforming stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like I came out of it going like, man, I wish that car chase was part of the video game.
Like this weird level.
Like
where
that's a really bad thing to pine for, like a car chase.
I wish I could play this.
I wish I could play it, but yeah, but I came away from it going like, man, there's stuff in here that I wish I could do, and in having it leap around to these different perspectives, where obviously I wouldn't play this part because I'm not that character. Like it ends up being weird. Anyway,
I think it's cool. It shows like how your friends.
yeah, it does the
That's
telltale
cool.
thing here, which we can you can go see kind of who chose what of the people that have played. I wonder if it because now I'm changing my stuff. If it just stores my first choice here.
Huh.
Anyway, so you make your choice and then it streams a television show.
The treatments, they're losing their effectiveness.
There's no changing the inevitable. It's just one closed loop, and no matter what I do.
Something about this dude's face, just I don't know, it looked a little weird to me.
The Wire guy, Carcetti.
Yeah.
I need to get in that lab. There's something in there that I need.
Is the actor that plays the James Joyce guy or whatever? Is he a big famous guy? I don't recognize him.
He was in
This is Dr.
Something.
Edmonds' report.
Okay.
This
I only recognize actors from The Wire.
increasing in frequency.
fair enough.
that? Chronon disrupted life form. Extremely hostile. It's Dr. Kim.
So you get kind of this last time on the TV show thing.
Okay.
Because you've played an hour of action and have totally forgotten this stuff. This stuff's real low budget. Like the effects don't look great. It's full of it's full of Microsoft phones.
Oh, okay.
It's full of Nissans.
All
right. But at the same time, it also does a really good job of reminding you that video game fashion is insane, because all these guards are wearing the giant logo of the corporation they work for, like this all over print kind of thing. You're like, what the fuck? Like, but it ends up looking weirdly futuristic or something.
Huh.
This stuff streams.
These episodes do?
Yeah, these episodes are not on the disc.
Oh, weird.
So they stream, and if you have bad internet, it will eventually, if it flickers out a bunch, it will eventually pop up and say, "Hey, do you just want to download these?" And that's 75 gigs
Per episode?
No, for the whole thing.
Jeez. So what if you try to play this offline?
You would need to download. I don't know what would happen.
I can't remember if it was you or Drew or someone that said like, "Oh, stop doing that." That it looks like a sci-fi show or something, like a sci-fi channel.
It has a real basic cable, low budget.
Very much.
The sci-fi stuff even is starting to get a little bit better looking than it has been. Like this stuff, a lot of it kind of goes nowhere. Again, it's kind of characters that don't really matter that much.
How long are the episodes?
22-ish minutes. I mean,
So, like, they're all kind of that standard-
it's an episode of TV.
Okay. At any point in development, did they say it was planned to be like an actual TV show on actual TV?
It was really confusing because a lot of the announcements around this game came up around the same time that Microsoft was talking about all of their other television plans.
Yeah.
So it was confusing.
Protocol is.
like Quantum Break was a little confusing at that point, and now they've kind of moved away from that entertainment studio.
Yeah.
I think they closed down the shop in LA that they had open to do a lot of that stuff. So this is almost a weird remnant of that time. I'm not really sure.
The fact that if they're all right around that 21, 22 minutes thing, it makes me wonder if they like wanted to leave the option open, like, well, if we make some deal or whatever, like that accounts for commercial breaks and everything, like that could be a TV show. It's the right length.
Okay, well, these episodes, because of these episodes would be a real bad television show.
It's hard to say without her to confirm, but
Just give me
These ones as in.
If you would not want to watch these,
Okay.
like as a standalone thing, like without the video game, these
Yeah.
would be meaningless.
Okay.
be the time to decide.
What was the game that actually had a TV show last generation?
Defiance.
That's what it was. Yeah. Did that go well for them? Is the show still on?
I don't know. I don't think it is. Like that game was not great.
No. Never saw the show. I played a little of the game and did not do much for me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a time tablet.
The show, I remember they brought it back for another season at least. So I think
Disconnected from the video game?
No, because the game probably is still running.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was like an MMO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a really bad shooter MMO. Yeah.
So I'm just kind of skipping ahead to just like, if people do want to see the plot, there's going to be.
Hey, bud, where you going?
You're right. Time's ending, just like you said.
But it's pretty much these three characters are the characters that show up here.
And none of these are the guys in the game.
That one of them is.
Problem is,
And the other ones will, you maybe hear their voice come up at one point or something like that.
I wonder if it's because like the Wire guys and that other guy are a little more high cost, that they can get them in for some VO stuff for the like in-game parts, and then, I mean, if they're not showing them much in the live action stuff, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
get on the ground! Hey, no. Hey, I'm the one that called it in. I'm Hatch's guy.
One gun.
Yeah,
Where's she?
she's Chronon scientist.
Chronons.
She's important. We have to get her back to
Chronon the company?
No, Monarch's the company. Chronon is time juice.
Right, like
or something.
Chronospheres and Chronotroopers, yeah.
Yeah.
How many episodes are there?
4?
Oh, okay.
5?
Okay.
Yona.
Yeah, there's one between every act, basically.
Okay.
Shit, you killed him!
Oh, what's that?
All right. Well, it's end of episode 3. It also does that. It's real like end of episode 3.
Insert disc 4.
Yeah, pretty much. So then we'll continue on here and get back into action that happens after that.
Okay. Because you're shooting guns at some point in this game, right?
We're getting back to, this is now going to be the part where you shoot some guns.
Okay. And you don't drive that car, probably, right? Or any car?
No, you do not drive cars.
Okay.
Monarch lined every... Beth, I think I'm gonna need a ride. The streets are too hot.
All right, so I am playing a video game.
As soon as I find some higher
Oh,
ground,
okay.
It is some left trigger, right trigger type business. It's not active like tap into cover. You just kind of will take cover when you run up behind stuff. He's very kind of swimmy in his motion in a way that makes the platforming really annoying.
It looks kind of Uncharted, you know, like
Yes, yeah, I mean,
a little bit of
maybe
that?
something like that, maybe sort of, yeah. So
kind of jerky animations when you switch.
Yeah. So you see on the right, I have my powers, and you have cooldowns. All those powers have cooldowns associated with them. So when I pop the time shield, you see it start to drain, and then as soon as I run out of the time shield, I can actually save a little bit of it, and it'll charge back up from there.
Okay.
Time vision is always available.
Do any powers not have time? No, that's all time. Okay.
Yeah. So let's run down the list here. Time vision. It lets me see stuff. There are upgrade points that are hidden in time vision, and it'll show you, the narrative objects that you can interact with to fill out the story. Time stop is a localized time bubble that you kind of shoot at people, and it'll stop time around them, which then you can kind of shoot into the stasis bubble, and when the bubble collapses, all those bullets go into the guy all at once.
Oh, cool. Can you dash into it and like punch him in the face?
Yeah, you can do. You can sort of do that too.
Okay.
Time dodge is a dash. Time shield is the thing I just popped, and that will shield you. It also recharges your health. So at some point, I just started using that whenever you know, whenever the screen turns red from taking too many bullets, just pop that for a sec, stand there, and everything's pretty much fine. Time Blast is like an enhanced version of Time Stop that you shoot at people and it blows them up.
Okay.
And Time Rush is an enhanced version of the Time Dodge, which is a run, a very high-speed run. And if you do that up into an enemy's face, you can do a takedown.
Do they kind of slowly introduce these, or you purchase? Is there a skill tree where you're unlocking these?
So there is also a skill tree here for the powers. You don't purchase the powers. The powers just come over the course of the early game.
Okay.
And then you spend your upgrade points to make them better. You know, make it so you can use them a little more often, or you know, make them slightly better, that sort of thing.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. This is the part where I get up on top of the building. I remember now. But how?
What if you got on top of that time dumpster and climb on top of those time pallets?
Yep.
And there you go.
I'm looking at the bridge right now. It's a lot of Monarch. I don't know. Maybe you could sneak across?
Are you in a real-world city?
Or I could pick you up.
No.
Let me know. I'm pretty exposed out here, so try to make it fast.
I'll be a lot better when you get me on that boat.
We might
Monarch's
end up
ripping my ass
rewinding
around,
back
so
to
I can make friends
another
out here.
chapter that will be a
not
little
very
closer to the shooting.
Okay.
This is gonna be. This is kind of a.
How long do you need to get here?
That depends. Let me check.
This is kind of a lengthy sequence that leads to this. This part is maybe some of the worst. This part is the worst platforming in the game.
Oh, okay.
Coming up here.
Better get inside before the chopper.
I don't really associate Remedy with platforming.
Yeah. There is a fake
Okay.
in-world TV show, and honestly, I would so much rather watch this than anything that's part of the Quantum Break story.
So, we don't know
Still
where
there?
he is. We can't.
Yeah, just looking for a viewpoint.
We can't find him. So we need to look into a replacement.
It's supposed to be like a Twin Peaks type thing?
Kinda. Though this is just a bunch of weird fake VO session stuff.
In Night Springs.
There's another TV near the beginning of the game that, and I'm sure there are others that I probably didn't actually find.
Okay. Is that a billboard for a Nissan truck?
Probably.
Doing another sweep.
Do they specify how far into the future this takes place?
This is present day.
Oh, okay.
Can't stay here long, Jack.
So you never go like far into the future.
About
It's just bouncing around time and
This is not a bouncing around time sort of game.
it's manipulating time.
Yeah,
right?
it's trying to manipulate time. It kind of all happens within a pretty modern chunk.
Okay.
It's not like something like, oh, I'm gonna be the 1800s shooting guys.
Right.
It's not that kind of game.
Right.
It's a kind of self-contained, like they try to keep it science-y.
Okay.
That idea of like, well, you can't travel back before the time machine was invented because how would you do that? You know, like that type of stuff.
You're not Time Cop.
No, you are not Time Cop.
Okay.
There's not a lot of options. Switching to Monarch frequencies. Be in touch soon.
I'll be there in a few minutes. Don't stand me up.
For those
of you just tuning in, the manhunt continues as
Where's the fire pole?
A lot of things about this game are just giving me a vibe of like 2010, 2011 third-person action games. Outside of the weird stuff they're trying with the video stuff and the
television
TV,
stuff, yeah.
it just seems like a third-person action game from 2011 or so.
That's yeah. Yes, I see where you're coming from. That checks out.
Damn it. Better hurry.
Occasionally time stops because that's, and always in the most narratively convenient spot.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, it's.
Terrorist known as Jack Joyce. Thanks for your.
Oh, you're a wanted man?
Yeah. So that this moment here kind of harks back to one of the first choices you make.
sneaking around down there. Hey! I think that's Jack Joyce!
Hey! I think that's good voice acting!
Okay.
All right.
So shoot those men.
All right. I don't have any guns other than my infinite ammo pistol.
Okay.
But I can do this.
No.
Is there a lot of that, like, music kicking in when you do a cool thing? Like, they going for a lot of that?
Yeah, the music definitely starts when you do stuff. So these guys, so time has stopped. We're in the middle of a stutter.
Okay.
These guys have time backpacks that let them still move around when time stops.
Okay, so they are prepared for your powers.
Yeah.
Why do you have these powers? Is this like an X-Men thing where a certain amount of the population can do this?
No, there's been an accident around the activation of the time machine, and it's led to all sorts of shit happening.
Okay.
Friends become foes, people get time powers, people get time sicknesses, you know, shit happens, man.
Okay.
Time. So we're gonna trade our pistol out for a burst fire pistol. But I would rather have a rifle of some kind. There we go. Okay, tactical SMG, that'll help.
Can you unlock Vader time?
No, it's never Vader time.
Never Vader time, okay.
So yeah, I think this is kind of a cool effect, like in combat when you do this sort of stuff.
Oh, and you can push them around?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
At the same time, like, that's kind of where the game goes with it. It sets you up with all these abilities that that involve you know, you having a leg up on the enemies with the ability to stop time and stuff, and then the one trick is oh, by the way, what if we had some guys that could still move and are not as affected by your time powers?
And is that a thing from the very beginning?
No,
or they get introduced?
No, they get introduced kind of, you know, midway through, where it's like, and that's kind of like the one thing they do. So it goes back to the beginning of the game almost, where before you had your powers, when the game was just kind of a cover shooter and not a particularly great one.
Okay.
So it's a weird. So that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
So if I hold down this, I can run up here, hit this.
I mean, they're really going for it with the, like, cinematic stuff here. From the music to the camera angles and slow-mo and...
Yeah. But a lot of that kind of, you know, camera angle on a guy as you're killing him is like the last guy in an encounter gets that treatment.
Like the Batman Arkham stuff.
Yeah.
How's the melee stuff feel?
I mean, I'm just hitting B and that is happening. Like there's
It's not like a counter and parry type thing?
No.
It gave me an opportunity to climb up on the bridge and cross it. Slip right past Monarch, more or less undetected. I should get up on that bridge and make my way across it before this stutter ends.
Had to time shoulder charge that door.
Can you, like, push a floating body over the water and then start time, and all of a sudden he's all wet and he doesn't know why?
You don't start time.
Okay, damn.
That's all story stuff, so.
This just makes me want to play PsyOps.
Most things seem to make you want to play PsyOps.
Yeah, you've played PsyOps, right?
Yeah, it's great.
So you understand. Yeah. You could throw those big wrecking balls at people, and they'd explode. Throw a guy in an oven.
Was unreal. They weren't cops. They had no authority to do this. But the Monarch PR machine had done its job.
The first choice you make, I mean, this is almost ham-fisted, because the first choice you make is, do you want to have a PR campaign or harshly eliminate all the witnesses of the time machine accident? And so this is where it finally circles back around, and you're like, oh, because I chose the PR, I pushed the PR button.
Oh.
And yeah, if you walk up to characters, you get to hear a little bit slow dialogue.
Does this stuff ever get annoying, like all this visual stuff? And does it feel gimmicky and annoying at any point?
No, I don't know.
No?
Not especially, I don't know.
Okay.
Like I said, a little ham-fisted. Their PR campaign's so successful that people want to take selfies with the corporate security goons.
Okay.
Like, really kind of just a bit much.
Have you heard about the Nissan Titan XD?
No.
It's affordable.
I would love to hear more about it.
It's rugged.
Uh-huh, okay.
Yeah. Plenty of space in the, what do you call the back of a truck? It's not a trunk. The bed.
The bed?
Plenty of bed
the
space.
Bed of the truck, yeah.
Rugged bed space.
So I'll speed run behind this guy and then try to shoot him in the back.
He's phasing in and out of becoming a super hot character.
Okay, I need to try to... I thought I pushed... Okay, I did push shield. All right. Okay, let's reload that gun here. Run over, kill this guy.
So is this in a stutter, technically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these guys all have the backpacks.
So outside, you got the helicopter there. That is outside of the stutter, right?
No, because the helicopter's frozen.
Oh, so the stutter is the freeze.
Yeah.
And then the bubble.
When time stutters, everything stops.
And then there's the bubble of people like you and the backpack guys. You're outside the stutter.
Well, we're able to move
bubble
within a stutter.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Let's move back to an earlier chapter and show something else here. Roll this save back even further. Load time's kind of long. There are also multiple cases where they will have a checkpoint right before a cutscene.
Oh, cool.
And then if you skip the cutscene, the load time is all like I didn't time it, but in some cases the load time felt longer than the cutscene.
Oh, yikes. Okay. Have you played on PC at all, or have you heard much about
I have not.
performance?
The early talk on the PC version is that it's kind of a mess.
Oh, okay.
In terms of just like, the resolution is not, like, it's not as flexible as a PC game should be because it's coming out of the Windows 10 store that has certain limitations and that sort of stuff. But gains consciousness. I'm trying to think what's going to be like a proper action sequence here where we just shoot some more people and show off some of that stuff. But let's just go back to the beginning of Act 2. Why is that on E? Normal.
So I've not played this during any preview thing. I've heard you and Drew talk about it on podcasts and stuff, and I got to say everything I've seen here just seems wholly unremarkable. Like the action itself,
it's a series of interesting ideas that I don't think pan out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like they're obviously trying for something different here, but
not that. I mean, it's a cover shooter.
Right, right. I'm talking about like the TV stuff and everything.
Sure.
Like the actual gameplay doesn't look like. Again, all the gameplay stuff is that 2011 type stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, nothing I'm seeing is compelling me to want to play this at all.
Yeah, it's it's ambitious, but at the same time, it's ambitious in its overall structure. But each individual piece, I think, is pretty lackluster. Like the gameplay, I think, is pretty drab, and it doesn't really go anywhere.
Okay.
The one change it has is it has the platforming stuff, which sometimes you have to use your time abilities to stop something because you'll be in a stutter and something will be flipping back and forth. But so basically, like a car is crushing on the ground over and over again. You need to freeze it while it's in the air so you can run under it, like that sort of stuff. You need to rewind this bridge falling apart so you can run across run across it before it falls again.
Yeah.
And it's.
I feel like that stuff's been done a lot.
It's kind of lame, and the character movement is not tight enough to really make that feel good. Also, I think a lot of the.
Why were they not holding guns?
Because I took them because time stopped.
Okay.
Never questioned it because it didn't feel.
The time's going to start at some point, and they're going to be like, "Why are we holding our hands like this at each other's face?"
Exactly.
The old industrial area. Why am I here? Only way forward.
Oh, so yeah, here's. Okay, use time vision to highlight destructible environment, and so this is kind of the tutorial for rewinding time.
Huh.
Okay. Commentary.
Well, Well, that's weird.
Okay, so you've only got those 4 now.
Yeah. So I can rewind that thing I just did, but not for long.
Okay.
Okay, doesn't last. Noted.
He's learning his own powers.
When the fracture broke time, some objects became unstable.
Oh, I see what you're
With my
doing.
new abilities, I can manipulate their timelines, rewind them.
Oops, I fucked that up. But yeah, so it's like even this dumb little platforming thing where it's just, you know, kind of run across, like, I still somehow managed to leap off the side like an idiot. Like, just some of the movement stuff just feels really imprecise, and then the game will, you know, this is kind of the first one, so it's sort of, or one of the first ones, so it's kind of pretty straightforward, but
Still no word.
as it gets more elaborate, the annoying movement only becomes more annoying.
Okay. Are you ever having to juggle like multiple time things, like kind of a puzzle situation? Like, oh, I got to get out of this room by raising this, but then I got to lower this, and then no.
It's not especially more complicated than what we just saw.
I needed to know why, but part of me wanted to put a fucking bullet in his head before he could open his mouth.
Want us to send additional
A lot of emails. Lot of emails. Why is this person's email on this laptop? Like, this one is sent to the ground zero op all, so that one makes sense. But there's a lot of cases where you're just like running up to a laptop, hitting 2 buttons, and reading private emails between 2 people.
Oh, okay.
I mean, whatever. You know, that's
sure.
That it's video game shit.
Yeah.
This game's full of video game things. So.
Looks like some bitch named Amy's gonna be the poster girl for Serene's PR campaign.
Oh.
Filming confession videos. We blew the library to create misdirection.
Is it the library that had all the time juice in it and caused everyone to have weird time sickness and all that?
Something like that.
Cover me!
Is that guy here? Oh, where'd he go? Okay. That's the dash.
Okay.
I wish the powers fit together better than they do, because it's kind of like I can. So if I dash and hold the left trigger, I'll get a little bit of slow motion, which will give me some time to do some stuff. But it never feels like I'm awesome. It never feels like I've mastered these time abilities in a really awesome way. It just feels like, well, okay, I'm gonna pop this, and then, you know, what's the one that isn't on cooldown? Okay, well, I guess I'll use that one now.
So it's not like you're using a bunch of stuff in tandem to do crazy shit and feeling real cool about it.
Exactly. Like it'd be a lot cooler if the game inspired you to kind of use your powers, or if the powers flowed together better.
Right.
This game seems real bad about just flow in general. And there's other stuff like he stands up to shoot. There's no blind fire really. Period.
Okay.
So like I'm taking cover from that guy. I wanted to kill that guy. I could just hold in real life, one would hold the gun and just shoot this guy right here while staying down. But aiming pops you up, so you start taking fire from all sides anytime you want to shoot your gun, which is that's a bad cover system.
Yeah.
That's for Will.
And you know, that's lame.
Wonder if the gameplay is going to be so cover focused, maybe that should be better implemented.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that shit's been around since like Gears of War with the like, hey, just don't hold the left trigger and you'll just do the blind fire thing.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's really crazy.
Hello?
Jack, this is Beth Wilder.
Beth? You're the one my brother was looking for.
I'm the one who was attempting to rescue your ass until you decided to go on a gun-blazing ship parade through that warehouse. Now listen closely. You're at the outskirts of a Monarch Cronin harvesting operation, and Paul Serene is at the dry docks nearby. Not a recipe for fun times. So how about...
Dry docks? If Paul's at the dry docks, then that's where I'm
No! Jack, the fracture is our only priority now. Time is ending. Will said he...
Will's dead.
My best friend came back a goddamn monster. He knew this would happen.
Is there any real humor or moments of levity in the story, or is it all just like, time, just constantly?
It's pretty serious.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, yeah, man. Time is, we gotta stop time to stop time. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not great. It's disappointing. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the developer has done some amazing action.
Yeah.
In the past, you know, and okay, so this is an upgrade point. We'll suck the time juice out of that, and now we've got one more upgrade point, but probably still not enough to actually. Yeah, I only have 4 points. I need 6 for any of these top tier ones that I haven't already gotten, so.
This is extra a bummer because I think we all kind of want more cool exclusives for our consoles. You know, reasons to own these consoles and stuff, and like, this does not seem that great.
William at a workshop.
I mean, no, it's really not. Like, I prefer the time manipulation stuff in Max Payne to this.
Right.
You know, like, to be blunt about it, like that's a great video game, Max Payne 2. You know, this just doesn't feel like the action doesn't feel tight. You did good, Amy. And the storytelling is kind of all over the place, and
It just seems kind of soulless. Like, I know I've only seen bits and pieces here, but none of these characters seem particularly interesting. This dialogue all sounds, you know, basic cable.
Yeah.
You're not letting me go, are you? You're never letting me go. Please. I didn't do anything. I just...
It ain't fair, right? So use that on camera. Protest got out of hand. Thank God. What was that?
Stealth them.
Yep. Gonna put you on my reel.
Jack Joyce.
You. From the protest. What do you...
I am so sorry. I didn't want to, but they made me do it.
They made you do what?
She shows up a little bit in both ends. So this is actually the character that
They forced me to make false
doesn't have to be here, and a lot of her dialogue is totally empty.
So could she be gone at this point in the game?
Yes.
And so would you just not have a conversation with anyone here and just keep going?
None of this is your fault.
I don't actually know how it goes firsthand, but a lot of her dialogue is the sort of stuff that is just like, well, this is not interesting information. You are just kind of there saying some stuff that didn't need to be said, and we're moving on. I do kind of want to get all these upgrade points,
I knew Marnik was
which is
doing something.
dumb of me, but all right. This kind of slow trot around the environments is a little too slow.
Yeah.
Just a lot of, I could kind of go on and on about some of that stuff, but I think it probably just suffice to say that I just don't think this game comes together in a particularly interesting way.
Right.
And it's got a neat idea at the core of it of trying to merge this stuff, and there are things you do along the way that then you do see their effect on the TV show, which can change as well.
Yeah.
But none of those choices feel that interesting when you make them, and none of the things the things they are sure to point out to you to say this is because of what you did.
Right.
None of that stuff is like I didn't come out of that going like, oh man, awesome. Like, it was all just kind of lame. And the action itself is
Marnik had a dark side,
dull.
but this?
It's dull.
What a shame.
Controlling
Yeah.
the entire media, everything.
They can't cover this up.
There's kind of one last little puzzle sequence here.
It's locked. Okay, there must be a gate controller on some. Hey, it worked.
That door doesn't stay open for long, though.
It's not holding
Huh.
on.
Oh, I don't have the run. I need to actually do that.
There we go.
That can be fixed.
Oh!
These puzzles seem so just like, hey, here's obviously what you do here.
Totally. Yeah, none of them are confusing. There was one spot with the platforming where everything was such a mess that I wasn't sure which direction to go, but I finally found the one direction that didn't just kill me immediately and went that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something
yeah.
to look forward to.
Yeah.
I thought I was losing my mind when I saw that.
And there's another spot over here where we can kind of rewind time to make this platform a platform so we can run along it and get in the window and stuff like that. And that's kind of the next thing we'll do here. But anyway, that's Quantum Break.
Okay.
It's part TV show, part video game, and it tries to make player choice a thing. And I just don't think it's successful at any one of those things.
That is too bad.
A real shame. The developers made fantastic games in the past. And, you know, there are some neat ideas, and I can always be kind of a sucker for a time travel story, even a bad one. But the way this thing comes together is real disappointing. I was pretty bummed out playing through this thing. It was just like, oh man, there's so much potential here. It's just not making good on any of it. It was real bummer.
That's too bad.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.